All right. Welcome to the power plan call for Monday the 9th for Purple Pride. So hello. So what's everybody got going on this week?
Crickets.
Well, I got a bike trip to Ocean City going on.
Okay.
So I'm cramming today to get all the
Yeah.
postcards out and everything, get everything done before I leave. It's amazing how much you can get done when you're on a deadline.
Absolutely. So let's start this way. I mean, we all know that as leaders, we're supposed to set the pace. So how is everyone doing? How are y'all feeling with your personal business right now?
Well,
Next
I can
question.
say September, you know, it's funny with virtual parties, you kind of get nervous when you don't have the cooking parties, but then the virtuals just fill up.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3 cooking parties, which is more than I haven't done one in 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
now I think one person responded to the email that went out, a host I haven't touched base with in about 5 years, sent me a message, I want a cooking party. And then one was a free party that I offered from a vendor event. So it's an older group of ladies, but they're getting the power tool class tonight. They're getting chicken cacciatore.
Yep.
And one was a response to all the messages that I sent. So when I find things that are working, I make sure I share every idea that I do with my team.
Yep.
And hope that they're gonna do what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you happy with your business? Are you where you want to be right now, Sharon?
Well, I'm never happy. I have 13,
Okay.
10 virtuals and 3 cooking. So that's never enough.
Yeah. What about everybody else?
We're still in rebuild from promoting at the end of July. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting there. We've started the month off strongly, but I'm not where I want to be personally. So I'm working on that. At the same time, I'm really getting organized with my systems.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I want to do that more than I want to do the personal, but I got to do the personal to be able to move forward. So, it's always a balance, always a balance. So we're working on it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So do you feel comfortable where you are with your personal business? Like, I realize that there's more work to do, but are you in crisis mode? Do you feel like, okay, this is all right and I'm building, or like, where are you personally?
I'm not worried. I'm not in crisis.
Yeah.
It's just, a lot of August or all of August was pulled to July.
Yeah.
And so then it was tough to get back on your feet in August. And so this month, new products, new catalog, no big deal. Yeah. It's just dedicating the time to it, I think, more than anything, amongst everything else that you're always trying to juggle. That's all.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But we're making a lot of changes. So I'm excited about the changes, and I think it's going to help all of us all around.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
What about you, Michelle?
No, my September is not looking where I want it to be. I need to do some serious reaching out and contacts, and kind of been slacking and unmotivated. And
Yep. So what changed as far as feeling unmotivated recently? What happened to make you feel that way?
Just focusing more on family. And I spent the week waiting, my cousin was coming down to visit. So it was, okay, got to clean my office, got to straighten, organize, and clean my entire house. And so that was the focus for the week, and not my business. So.
Gotcha. How are you feeling now?
I'll let you know at the end of the week, hopefully. I have some serious lists of people to reach out to.
How are you feeling motivation wise?
Better.
Yeah.
I need to. That's why I'm here. You kick me out.
What can we help you with? Like, where? Because you're like kind of, and I totally know how you feel. Like, what do you think is kind of putting a damper on your motivation right now? How can we help?
I don't know. It's just me. It's getting out of my own way.
Okay. Do you have goals set personally for the rest of the year?
Not written down. No.
Jill, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
If one of your consultants called you and said to you what you just said to us, what would you say to her?
I feel like I'm being put in the spot here. What essentially would be the conversation of what are you doing? What are you doing to try to get to those? And that's the thing. I'm focusing a lot on my team and getting them motivated, because I've had a lot of new consultants that are joining and trying to get them to do their qualifying and everything else. So there's things that I'm focused on, but then it's the personal business that kind of, yep, okay, I need to work on that too. So yeah, it would be the conversation of, what are you doing to get more shows in your calendar? How are you reaching out to people? What is unmotivating you? Why are you feeling unmotivated?
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do first? And would you like me to hold you accountable to that?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, how will I know when you've done it?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. We all do it though. I mean, my default is to focus on my team. That is my default. And I know not everybody does that, but if I'm not feeling like really working, then I'll go do like some floofy stuff with my team. And I go, look, it worked. And then I have a crap for July. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm asking, because we've all been there. And it's only in the past like 5 or 6 weeks where I feel like, okay, I feel like I've kind of got my mojo back. So that's why I ask, because every single one of us goes through that. And that's why we're here, is to help each other remotivate and to feel better. So
what helped you get out of your slump or get you remotivated, Julie?
Part of it was conference, and part of it was finally being in a place where I felt like I could make changes. So we have one left at home. He's 15, almost 16. And I think it was kind of a combination of conference and just I finally kind of feeling like, okay, you know what? At this point, I need to be making some serious money before we're screwed. And, my team is what it is. I can't raise the dead. I need to focus on recruiting new people. And I know what I should be doing, but I can't actually do it. And I'll be completely honest with you all. A part of it too was, to what you were saying before, Michelle, I kind of had a falling out with my parents. And a lot of that I know had been a mental and emotional block for other parts of my life without getting, to Dr. Phil about it all. But it got me to the point where I was finally like, you know what, screw it. This is me. It's my time. Everybody get the hell out of my way. I need to do it. And I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm over it.
Sometimes you need that catalyst.
Yeah. So it was a combination of those two things, honestly. And having July completely suck. It was the first time I had ever not been paid as a director team, ever. And I've been a director for 12 years. So it was a trifecta.
Yeah. August sucked like that for me. So.
So
sometimes you need those bad moments to get you going. That's why I went virtual. I had January and February that I thought, holy crap, I'm going to lose title. And I've got directors under me that are advanced directors. I'm like, I have got to get my rear in gear. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I had an interesting experience last night. We, the 8th of every month, we do what I call an ARE meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's appreciation, recognition, and encouragement.
Nice.
And I was inspired by something I learned in one of the trainings that Robin had done. And so I start off, before the meeting starts, I post one thing I appreciate about every single member of my downline. I don't care what generation they are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have a lot of generations, so it makes it easy right now. But and then I do all the recognitions and all that stuff, and so that's all posted before we meet on Zoom. And then when we meet on Zoom, it's all about encouragement. And my team flipped it on me last night, and because I was going through all of their goals and what we could do as a team to encourage them. And then they said, what can we do to encourage you? And it really made me stop and think. And like the one place I really needed some encouragement is going through the Lead the Way program that I'm starting. And they said, well, talk to us about that. And like they did start coaching me in reverse.
Yeah.
And the result, they decide they're going to read The Energy Bus with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But it was their idea.
Right.
And they're going to do, they divided up the labor, and they're going to rotate, and every week do an accountability check with me to see how I'm doing with my bookings, how am I doing with my recruiting, how am I doing with my reading. And it was really humbling, but really amazing to watch them flip on me.
I want to cry for you. So yeah.
You know, and start encouraging me. And it's like, you know, we see your potential. We want to invest in you. And you've been investing in us for like however long. We want to invest in you. And that was so empowering last night.
Yeah.
You know, and it was such an amazing conversation to have, for them to say, how can we encourage you
Mm-hmm.
to grow as our leader? So,
Yeah.
you know.
Good for you. And you got that obviously because you've given so much, like they said. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
I'm excited about reading the book with my team.
Yeah.
Because
have you read the book before?
What?
Have you read the book before?
No. I read all day long on the computer for students and papers and everything else. Is like, so by the end of, when I have time that I could read, the last thing I want to do is read.
Yeah.
So I haven't read for me in I don't know how long.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
When I come into my office in the morning, I do, a few minutes of meditation and visualization, and then I do business reading before I do anything else. I don't turn on my computer. Like, I shut off my phone, like nothing else. And it takes a little while to get into that habit. But on the mornings when I don't do it, I feel completely out of place.
Yeah, I do that every morning anyway. But reading for me.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been part of my rotation. And my team said to me last night, well, why don't you read in the morning right after your spiritual rotation, while you're still fresh and your eyes are, and I was like, and then somebody said, well, why don't you read during your lunch break? Yeah. And we'll hold we'll have a book club now, and we'll all read it together so that we can make sure that you're reading. And I'm like, okay.
That's fantastic.
But they came up with some solutions for me. And one of the girls said, Sharon, it sounds like you're making excuses. And you don't let us make excuses. So, let's come up with some solutions. What are some of your thoughts? What have you tried?
That's great. You got some leaders on your team there, girl. You've got a lot of leaders on your team.
It was just an awesome meeting last night.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, it was fun watch. Like, I'm like, oh my God, they're getting the coaching thing down.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, all those months that I thought I was banging my head against the wall are actually paying off. So
just like our kids, I think that they ignore us, but they actually hear some of it. They don't acknowledge it, but they hear some of what we say. Yeah.
So that was my exciting news for
That's fantastic, though.
That's really cool. Very cool.
Sue, how are you doing with virtuals? Because I know you blew them up, and then you were, you had a little bit of difficulty. And
getting bookings, I was struggling. So last month I was able to pull off the 6,000, which is my bare minimum to pay my bills and do what I have set for goals for myself.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I didn't have my camera on. Hey. And I only have 2 that are going this week. One's going great. The other one's like, nobody's engaging. I have like 10 guests in their tops. But I have 5 for next week. So I've started getting back. I hired an assistant, and she's, I gave her like all of my old slips, the yellow slips that you take home from your shows. And I have them categorized by month. And people that had said, potential bookings and stuff like that. And so she's been emailing hey, did you know I've gone virtual, blah, blah, blah. So she's been doing that, and I've been doing follow-up texting. So I got 5 for next week. And, I just know that, God says that the plans of the diligent will prosper as surely as haste leads to poverty. So if I'm just diligent and I just keep doing what I'm doing, my calendar will fill up as it always does, and I'll get back to where I need to be. I was a little scared though. Home office reached out to me and they want to be in one of my virtual shows. I said to my husband, crap, I better get some more shows. If they want to watch one of my shows, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm actually today I started a template Sunday, and I had only put together Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So I need to finish Tuesday and get Wednesday done for this week and reschedule those shows. And then I'm going to be using what's called stress-free dinners. So I just decided to use the 7 meals on the center of our catalog.
Yeah.
For my theme, and I'm working on those. I haven't recruited anybody new, so I still have not figured out the recruiting system for myself. Like in live parties, I was great at it.
Yeah.
In virtual parties, I forget, I'm not in a conversation with somebody, or the conversation starts out with like, hey, what do you want for recipes? Like, I just get the conversation going. So like, I'm having a hard time gauging when to just ask somebody if they want to join my team. So I think I'm looking for a little input if somebody's doing really well on the recruiting aspect in your shows. Obviously we talk to our hostesses and all of that, but like, how are you recruiting people in the shows?
Terry?
You're muted, Terry.
Yeah, you're muted.
I was like, I'm ready for that question. I've got it.
All right, good. I need some help because that's what I need for my team.
Yeah.
Well, a benchmark for me is anyone that gets the free guest special is someone that I talked to about recruiting. So if they can afford, if they can spend, $75 now, $80, they can certainly buy a kit. So it's not a financial hardship usually. So I talk to those. Anyone that is, got their eyes on bigger ticket items, which we would do in cooking shows anyway. And those lovers, every show I seem to have, not every show. Well, I'm doing I'm doing block parties now. So I have more on every show, quote.
Oh, like a mega show?
Yeah, kind of. I just have like 4 or 5 hosts in one show. So I'm only posting 1 show or 2 if I'm doing 2 block parties a week. And that's going really well.
Oh, tell me about it, because when I did them, they were not going well. So
the only difference is, I'm not putting a show link in the party whatsoever. I use Linktree, and Linktree has the different shows that are going on that week's shopping link. So I'll say this is, Jane Doe's shopping link. This is, Tracy Smith's shopping link, blah, blah, whatever the 5. So there's no confusion. There's no orders that are going in wrong places, because I think when you pull them out and you show them Linktree, it's 5 links. You pick your friend's name and you're good. And because every party has a couple people that really participate, that play, then you put 4 hosts together and you get more of those type people. And then the ones that, here or there, that adds even more to it. So, going is anywhere from 50 to 100 people sometimes, and the participation is great. And so when anyone orders on any of the shows, I'm putting that into the show, and that reminds people across the board to order or to host a show. I mean, it's going very well. It's very organic, I think, on its success, because it's just people are seeing it happening across 4, 5 shows most of the time, and it triggers them, so it happens more quickly. I think so.
You're not having any problems with people not wanting to engage because there's strangers in the show?
Not at all.
Okay.
Because we play games. People want to play games. And I don't think they even, a lot of times people get invited to these parties and they don't know each other. You know, one host can have friends from so many different, you know, spectrums of their life that they don't always know everyone. So they don't even know unless they were to go farther to see, oh, well, this is someone's, you know, invited guests from a whole nother host that they don't even know themselves. And it's not that way.
Gotcha.
They're engaging and they're having fun, and I'm seeing sales quicker. I'm seeing booking parties sooner because, again, if someone over 5 parties do these activities that I want them to do, I'm posting about it or their host is posting about it, and you're seeing more people pick up on the, you know, the signal. Oh yeah, I need to do that as well.
Do you put all of your hosts in a group chat and then give each one of them? No. So you give.
That's one thing I don't do, because that was the whole reason I didn't go into this, is because I don't want to lose that personal touch, because a lot of my recruiting comes from my hosts.
Okay.
I create that relationship and that's who becomes my future consultant. So I didn't want a group. I want that one-on-one. So that's not something I do.
Okay. And so you give each of your hostesses something different to post into the party every day?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Or along the same theme. Like, you know, if it's my favorite things, then they're posting or going live about their favorite things. But then other days, you know, I'll have them doing different things. So yeah. And I don't have all 5 of them doing something every single day, except for my friends, my favorite things. I might cherry pick. And you know how some hosts are good at doing what you want them to do and some are not?
Yeah.
This helps in that as well, because you still have the host participation, and the ones that are slackers, it doesn't really bring down the party.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually reached out to guests before that are active in the party and private messaged them and said, hey, I'll give you 20 points if you'll post this photo into the party. And I have guests doing what the host is supposed to be doing, you know, to salvage a show. I have one more question about that. How many games do you do a day? And like general, how many posts do you do?
I do at least 2 games a day. Usually morning and evening. So I'm catching my early birds and I'm catching people in the evening after kids go to bed and things settle down.
So like 8:30ish, right? Yeah. Yeah,
approximately. And then, you know, with Facebook, I've been doing a little less in posting. I was one of those people that did 16 4 times a day. But I'm doing a lot of manual posting because I think that changes up the algorithms and everything else, and it's not looking like you're a robot. And so because of doing some manual posting mixed in with some of Sincere helping me, you know, it's probably closer to 10 to 12 posts now a day.
That's what I'm doing too. I've changed a lot, and I set alarms on my phone, and I set up albums in my phone, and I've added my own personal videos into those albums and games into those albums and images into those albums. And so that when it just says post, I'll just go to Sunday, and I know that this party has never seen anything in my Sunday folder. So I can pick whatever I feel like posting that day in there. So that was a helpful tip for trying to keep it organic and try not to get in Facebook jail. And I was just actually editing images on my computer, even on the recipes now, you know, just taking recipes and here, like, I don't know, are you guys all doing that? Like taking your images and just like adding something to it? Number 1 top requested cooker in my home, blah, blah, blah. Like,
oh yeah, all kinds of things. They're borders or, you know, logos or whatever. Make it
easy. Or collages and things like that. Yeah.
Stickers.
Just like with our teams, you know, we want to do activities that will get us the actions or the end results that we want. Same with the party. So I'll do engagements on, you know, who are our foodies, who's always posting about their food. So those are the people that I would want to recruit, someone who's always posting about foods and having fun with it.
So you ask that question in your party, who are my foodies?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Why not? Why not get right to the get what we want, you know?
Do you have a funny photo or something for that? Or what do you
it's not. I do a couple different engagements. I can pull them and share them. That's no problem. But
I've been taking pictures this morning. Like I sat out all my cookbooks on my kitchen table and I was like, what's for dinner? And I took some pictures of me. So I was using the home office, like, do a like if you know what's for dinner, I use their idea, give me a wow or whatever if you don't have any idea. So I was doing kind of that, but I was trying to create some original stuff too.
Just be careful with Facebook jail and asking for likes and wows and those emojis because they're looking for that. So, I might just say, these are my pictures from this past week. Who else is
or just say, do you know what's for dinner tonight? Can I do that?
Absolutely. Or,
Okay.
who posts pictures of their meal before they eat it, or little fun things, that just gets you the answer you're looking for. And the other thing is I play a wish list game every time. And if they do hashtag wish list, and I have a cute image that goes with this, but if they do hashtag wish list anytime for the party, I give them 2 tickets. Some people do it just to get the tickets, but majority do it legitimately because they enjoy something. That again, I keep a spreadsheet and I keep track of those things so I can go back to them for hosting, go back to them for selling, and go back to them for recruiting. So that helps as well.
So quick question as far as that goes, I stopped doing, giveaways after the whole, Facebook jail thing. And I know that people are still doing them. How do you work around that? What wording are you all using? Because, enter for, post for 2 entries is a trigger. It's a flag. So what are you saying?
I haven't changed that up a whole lot. Sound off. I'll do sound off. I don't always say that they'll get 2 tickets, on this one. And so then I award the 2 tickets. And I do it as, instead of every single person get 2 tickets, 2 tickets, I'll say, okay, everyone got 2 tickets. Way to go. I love the ideas, or I love the responses, or whatever else, as a comment.
Okay.
So I'm slower, or I'm commenting less.
Mm-hmm.
And I do use the word sound off more often than I say you're going to get 2 tickets, or I just put a game up there.
Yeah.
People realize that when you put a game up there, they're going to get something for it, whether it is tickets or it is a free gift or whatever it is. So it's almost understood. You don't have to put those words in. So I guess
at the beginning of the party, you do still say, there'll be a drawing at the end for a gift or a prize or something. Okay.
I don't mention it probably as often as I used to, but I do a 4-day party now, and probably in those 4 times, I probably mention it 3 times. And then on the last day, it's kind of like, I don't care at the end of the show. So
Right.
The other Terry will come out for a couple hours.
Okay. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So in general, we all know what we're supposed to be doing personally, and we kind of talked about that. So what does everybody have going on team? So when we look at the power plan, it's sales, booking, recruiting, and developing others. So where do you all feel like you need the most help this week?
I can't say that I need a lot of help. I just have a lot of work.
Okay. Fair.
So I've been talking with a lot of other teams, executive really, or most recently, and a lot of them are doing different programs for new recruits, and then they're doing, booking blitzes prior to a director bound, and they're being consistent on how often they're doing their director bound, and then some are going beyond that, and they're doing a mastermind and everything else. And so I've wrapped my mind around that. Mm-hmm. Because we do have some big goals. It's not my goals, it's the team goals. They came back from conference and they're like, we want to keep moving forward. So I've been doing a lot of brainstorming on how I want to do it myself, how I can manage it myself. And so I am doing, this is just roughing it out. So I'm doing an opportunity event the first 2 weeks of the month. So week 1 and week 2. And then week 3 and week 4, I'm doing a brand new consultant training. So a lot of my directors are doing their own, all of them do their own training, but they're not everyone's getting the same information.
Right.
And I'm finding that, it's really important that they do get some of these basics, and for different reasons, they're not getting it. So I'm going to take time, about 30 minutes or so. If it runs over 45, no big deal. On the 3rd and 4th week of the month, to go over everything I want a new consultant to know, as well as to talk about Fast Track, to really talk and sell Fast Track. Then week 1 through 4 of the next week will be a director bound. So and I'm going to do actually 2 meetings every single Monday. So on the 3rd and 4th week is my new consultant for the first slot, and then the second slot just happens to be week 3 and 4 are my director bound. But then when you start the new month, so people get that new consultant training for 2 weeks,
Yep.
and they go right into director bound, or we're not going to probably call it director bound, but into a director bound type program. 4 weeks of it, normal stuff that we normally cover in there. If they come out of that with at least one recruit underneath of them, then they can come into a mastermind. And what the mastermind group will be is 2 weeks of group training. Again, 1-2 weeks. So as you can see, 1 week, 1-2 is mastermind and my director bound. And then the 3rd and 4th is the new recruit and the remainder of the director bound. And in the mastermind, we're going to really fine tune a little bit. We're going to talk about systems. We're going to talk about numbers. We're going to talk about tracking, and just giving it a little bit more and then more in depth than what we do in the director bound. And then in the second half of that mastermind month, they'll get one one-on-one call with me. So no matter where they are in my organization, they'll have that. But that's also when I want them implementing everything I've given them at the beginning of the month to ramp out and make that month strong. And they can continue going through that as long as and I'm not sure what the stipulation will be, maybe it's adding one more recruit, or maybe you go back to director down if you want, or whatever. So that's how I've kind of penciled it out. And so now I'm looking at what I would put in each thing. I kind of got a pretty good director bound. I want to see what I'm going to add to this mastermind and add to the new recruit. So I've been keeping lists and working on that. So that's the organizational part of it that I'm very excited about. Every single month we're going to have a director bound. I've done one director bound and then I kind of work with them one-on-one. Yeah. And now I'm going to do it every single month, do a director bound. And I'm excited. So that's where we are.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. But I think once I get it down on paper and get it implementing it, that it's going to be very duplicatable.
Yeah.
And then the team leaders can, and the directors can get in and do it with me. And so they're excited as well. But that's what I'm working on this week with organization.
That's awesome. What I always struggle with is having enough people to fill it on a consistent basis. So I've partnered with some other people, partnering with other, with Sharon and a few others right now this month. Because, I'm home office direct, so, I don't have other uplines or anybody else. So that's where I've always struggled. So when you were first kind of growing, what did you do as far as that type of thing for people?
When I was first growing, and especially in this last year, I did all new consultant training 101.
Yeah.
I trained my directors to do it. I did director bound with Leslie Caperton, my upline deck, and we had no mastermind. So now it's kind of implementing all this, and we just weren't doing on a consistent basis. But now that I have 10 directors, it gives me more freedom, and they want to kind of cut loose and us do our own thing.
Right.
So they're excited about that. They're excited to grow together. So we do have the numbers, but I think I would still do it even if we only had a handful.
Yeah.
But my director bound this month is 13 people, which I'm thrilled about.
That's fantastic.
Not that I expect every single one of them to do it this month or maybe at all, but that just having the bodies in the seats sometimes is important too.
Yeah. Yeah. What's everybody else doing as far as working with the teams?
I'm doing the same thing I did last night. I just did a Serious or Curious. I use Serious or Curious about director bound and did that introductory with, I'm in a mastermind group right now with Connie Flora and Lindsay Christopherson and Christina Kemp. And so Christina's already doing one with her upline. So it's Connie, Lindsay, myself, and my advanced director, Jen Mitchell. So each of us are taking a week. And we decided if we really like it, then you just keep that same week. And so the first time around, you have to be on all 4 calls so that you know how each person trains, etc. But then I thought, oh God, this will be so nice to finally only have to do a director bound. I only have to be responsible for 1 week, because also every Tuesday I'm doing a new consultant Q&A for 30 minutes, 8 to 8:30, just on. If you don't have any questions, which a lot of times there's 1 or 2 questions and everybody listens, but then they don't have any. So I've just been pulling up things like the book 2, at every show, and if you don't, you're out of business in 4 months. Then the second week I did the belief triangle. 1 week I did Frank's List, just new consultant general stuff, because I thought I was doing a little overwhelmed in March when we recruited too many people and I didn't know how to train them all. I didn't know where they were at and all that. So I was like, all right, we need to do a new consultant training. But then you get all these new people that come in and they're partway through. And I was like, oh, I need a better system. So I just decided every Tuesday I'm on for half an hour. And then 2 Tuesdays a month are our team meetings right at 8:30 anyway, 8:30 to 9:30. So now I'm having the leader of that month. So 2 of those Tuesdays, whoever's responsible for March or April or May, they're on for the new consultant Q&A also. Now, whether they're doing a training or not, they haven't done, so I've been kind of silent. And then if they don't jump in with anything, I just pull something up off my screen and start training. But no better way to train them than to show them, like, here are some things that we need to be training them. I just took a bunch of screenshots too from Dash, because I don't know about you, I'm not complaining, but I'm complaining. Like, I can't find my way around Dash. And so I had a new consultant that just is trying to close a fundraiser. God bless her for doing a fundraiser, right? Had no idea, other than I sent her a YouTube link of, here's how I do fundraisers. And nowhere in my YouTube video did I say that the host only gets the 60% off item. I just talked about how to promote it, who to talk to, all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, I don't know how to add the host rewards in. And I was like, oh, you get the yellow star. And then I went, here, let me send you the link from Dash. And I searched the word fundraiser in Dash and nothing shows up. So then I started clicking around. I'm like, I am freaking wasting my time. I'm supposed to be doing this other thing in 7 minutes and I can't even help this new consultant. So I was like, all right. So I started taking some screenshots. I've had 2 people ask me how to do the direct deposit. And I'm like, well, it's under the financials. And then I'm like, where the heck are financials? So I'm struggling finding my way around Dash. I wish that they would have kept things side by side for a little bit. Or like when you find it, then you can look to see where it is. And it's just like explore finances, but it doesn't show you how you got from explore to financials, like, no, show me the pathway. So I can learn. So Terry, so those upper people can feed that information back up line that, like, teach us how to get to where it is. Because what I used to do before, and I think I got this from Julie actually, was I wouldn't answer their question for them directly. They would say, how do I do this? And I would find where to find it. And I would send it and say, watch this video. And if you have any questions, let me know. Like, forcing them every single time to go back to the training so that they then stop asking me, because they know that they're going to end up watching the training again. So, and it happened last night. The girl asked me, how do I find my my interactive catalog link again? I can't remember. And I actually did a YouTube video on it. I sent her the YouTube video and her comment was, I'll have to watch that later. And I texted back and I said, it's 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Right.
Like, watch the damn video. I'm not going to tell you one more time how to do it. You're going to learn. So, yeah. So I'm doing, new consultant training every Tuesday. I'm starting a director bound now. And I'm personally in a mastermind. But as we promote some directors, I think that I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start getting them into a discussion. I'd like to do, like, Take the Stairs by Rory Vaden, some of those basic stuff, having them listen to some podcasts like Jim Rohn, because they're not in personal development mode. And I kind of got out of that. And I think that that's where my attitude, like Julie, you were somebody asking you, how do you get out of your funk? Like, I had to go pull out my good old fashioned Jim Rohn. I love him. And I just listen to those audios that I have of his all the time to just kind of pull my attitude, like, yes, we live in the best country in America. We own our own business, like, I'm like, all right, what's next? But you need that. So you just got to find what works for you.
Yeah. So, all right. So Sue, you're doing a director bound every month and you're doing a Q&A with new consultants every week.
Every week. And then I'm doing a team training first and third Tuesdays of every month for an hour. We broke our team meeting into 2 sections. And the first section we've been doing, some brilliant person did this Disney bound, week 1 is Pinocchio, Dumbo, Peter Pan. I was like, thank God for smart, creative people. So I've just been cheating right off that. I hope somebody comes up with something next year, because so Little Mermaid was last week. We're going on to Jungle Book, and then Frozen, and then Toy Story. So one of the trainings is that, and the other training of the week is basically, what do you need to know to sell the current month? What do you need to, what are the promotions? Because new consultants don't understand to read the little fine print at the bottom. all that kind of stuff. And then team recognition, like welcome all the new consultants, yay for those top sellers. Are you guys doing anything? I've heard 2 feedback. So interesting. Had a lot of new people at conference this year, and they said that they felt like crap at recognition when all those people walked stage. And I thought, interesting. And they said, yeah, it made me feel like I wasn't doing anything, like I wasn't worthy. But it's interesting because they want to walk stage now that they've promoted, but they felt yucky about that. And I had feedback too about it's always the same people that we recognize because they're the top sellers and the top recruiters and all of that. And I thought, okay, so now we're doing shout outs. I've delegated people on my team specifically that Monday is your day to shout out, Tuesday is your day, and find somebody that's not your top seller or recruiter to cheer on, like, yay, you stepped out of your comfort zone or whatever. So we've been kind of doing that. And there's one new thing that I did start. Do it scared. So I have 2 hashtags going on my team page. So I we have plants in our shows where we say, get your mother, sister to comment. I told my directors, every single day you have to post on this so that it bumps to the top every day. So it is anytime you ask for a booking. And every 10 do it scareds, you get a ticket into the door prize. And every month I'm going to do a drawing for one of my extra products that I have. So basically we know bookings are where everybody's having a hard time. So they have to post their words in one, like, here's what I said today. And then a screenshot of all the people that they, and then they say, do it scared 1 through 10, do it scared 11 through 20, do it scared, whatever, so that I can easily count the points up. But they have to show their words so that if somebody else goes, oh, I like those words, I'll steal those and try it. And I tell them, I encourage them, instead of Facebook Messenger, I encourage, if you have their phone number, to text them so that you stay out of Facebook jail.
Yeah.
Doing repetitive stuff. So that we just started the last couple days of August. And so it's running like 28th, 29th, and then all of September is this first month. But I've gotten some people, and then so that was Do It Scared. And then we have one that's called The Big Ask. And we've got that started too. So those are kind of what are the behaviors I want to see on my team. And then I'm rewarding those. So people have stepped out of their comfort zone. They've talked to strangers. They've done some out and about. So it's all prepping for the director bound, because they're going to have to do it for director bound, but they don't know that. I'm going to be like, look, you already did it.
Right. Yeah. That's excellent. So plans for the rest of this month then, as far as, working with the teams and developing people. And we got people doing director bound, which is amazing. What about, how quickly let's see how I can ask this. All right, so you have new consultants coming in. Terry, you said you're doing new consultant training the 3rd and 4th weeks of the month?
An opportunity event the 1st and 2nd week, back to back, and then new consultant 3rd and 4th week.
Okay. I'm writing this down because you're also damn brilliant, so.
Hey, I've been listening to brilliant people. That helps me. Why we're here, right?
Right. So last week, I know we had talked about doing the 7 days of blending and working with that. Has anybody done anything with that? So this is an idea that Yeomans had come up with, and just to really promote the blender, but to really drive the desire for it before you start focusing on bookings and doing a bookings blitz, is to really get the team to be sharing about the blender. And her idea was, Joy says, I'm starting it today. Cool. I
did one today. Didn't even know it. I did the Parmesan cheese that Julie Gizzi did.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So her idea was, you have one person pick, because there's 7 functions. So each person picks a function and does like a video or a post or something, and then everybody can use it. So then the team can be promoting every day a different function, but they don't have to come up with every single one.
Oh, okay.
So she's brilliant. So I started working on that with my team. I don't have all 7 yet, but I was just curious what everybody else is doing to promote the promotion for the team, to help get the team to focus on not just the blender, but all the other power tools. What else are you guys doing as far as that goes. So Joy, you said, she said she's starting it today. So you have all 7 lined up for your team, Joy? So you've got 7 posts that everyone's going to be doing? And she's typing, so it'll be a second for her to respond. So, but what's everybody else doing to help your team promote the host specials?
So I was at a training that Corey Johnson did, and Corey, I thought, did something interesting. She asked, like, instead of what are you doing to sell the blender, what are you doing to market the blender?
Mm-hmm.
And so we came up with all kinds of, at her training, she came up with everybody came up with all kinds of questions that you could ask as social engagement posts. So I was doing that with my team, and their idea was to then take all 30 of the new products and come up with marketing questions, social engagement questions that they could ask to promote all 30 of them. And they're having a blast with that.
Can you give an example of one? Because I want to post it for my team to do.
Which item or which?
Oh, anyone. You pick one that you want. One that you've already got.
So I don't have them in front of me, but so with the blender, one of the questions they were going to ask is, who likes to grind their own coffee?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do you prefer to buy whole beans or pre-ground? You know, and so like if people would prefer to grind their own coffee, then that's something they could then have a conversation with somebody about the blender. You know, how often do you drink smoothies? Was another question they came up with. What's your favorite homemade jam? Or who makes homemade jams? Who would like homemade peanut butter? Or like, do you like smooth or chunky peanut butter? And just, you know, they were taking each of the functions of the blender
Mm-hmm.
and trying to ask a question that would get at it. You know, and, or they took, like, they asked, one of the questions they asked about pretzels was, soft pretzels or hard pretzels, to get it, like, who likes soft pretzels. And then they were asked, another question they had was, with soft pretzels, plain with mustard or with cheese sauce.
Okay. Yep.
And so, like, if they like cheese sauce, then they could talk to them about not only the pretzel maker, but the blender.
Nice.
So they can make cheese sauce to dip the pretzels in. Does that make sense?
I love that. I love that idea. And those are really good. Like, you can take the images of the soft pretzel and you can put the question, soft pretzels or hard pretzels, you know,
Right.
that kind of thing. And you can make that a game in your party.
Right.
That's brilliant.
You know, and so the little game that we're playing in my team now is, how many questions can you come up with that you could ask about each of these products? And then it's kind of like a spin on, I think it's Grace Bott's September shout out, which did not go well in my group. But whoever posts the most questions, marketing questions, will get one of the fall items out of my stash. So they're really liking that. And it's then something they can go back and use, and they have ownership of it because it's their question.
That's awesome.
And I think a lot of people are really uncomfortable with the word, like the idea of selling. So the idea of marketing is, when I use that language, they're more interested in, like, how can we market this? And that changes their mindset and then makes them want to be more engaged.
Yeah.
Than in selling something.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what we always talk about is it's building value and solving solving issues, solutions and everything that we hear all the time. But you're right, our team doesn't necessarily hear that wording all the time.
Yeah.
And really helping them to remember that we're trying to solve a problem for somebody.
Right.
Trying to make things easier for somebody.
Yeah.
It is about them. It's not about us. So,
right.
I love, like you said, just changing, because that's what for everything really in life, if you think about it, your perception will impact everything. So if you're perceiving that I'm doing something to somebody, you're not going to want to do it. You know what I mean? So.
And so like for each of them, we're saying, so what is the problem that this product is solving?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I was like a couple meetings that we were talking about the meal starters and how they're kind of overpriced. But I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said he thought it was a great bargain because a bottle of Merlot, which is what's made to use that beef bourguignon sauce, costs $8 to $10 for a bottle. So that, like in his mind, just made the $15 a great price. Mm-hmm. Which, since I don't buy Merlot, I had no idea. Mm-hmm. But it's like it's like what, and I think one of the things that Pampered Chef does in the Fabs is to like let us know what the problem was. So if we go back to what the problem is that it's trying to solve, and then say, what are the questions we can ask to get people to realize this is a problem they may not know they have. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does. No, it totally does.
Yeah. And then it becomes like, how can I help? This is how I can help you solve your problem.
Yeah. Where is everybody's team as far as September for bookings? I know the summer was rough for a lot of us. Has anybody's team started to come back? I mean, obviously, we always need to be adding people, and that being said, how is everybody's team doing so far this month?
We're doing good. I actually had 4 people come back who were on the verge of being dropped and are now active, which is just weird.
What brought them back?
One said she realized she needed the team, and one decided that she needed some money for the holidays. And the other 2 just were like green out of the book, so I don't know why. And they're not responding to my messages, but they're green, so.
There you go. At least they're working.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I know a couple of people I know are struggling with is like when you message people and they don't message back, or they don't even say thanks or give you a thumbs up or something. How do you, I'm of the mindset, like if somebody sends me a message, I'll respond in some way, but a lot of people are just not responding in any way. And I think for some people that gets a little frustrating. And that's one of the things I hear from my team members a lot is like, well, I messaged 15 people. And I'm like, but that doesn't mean they're not going to respond. They're just not going to respond now. I do this thing where whether a person books or doesn't, or the person orders or doesn't order at a party, they get a message from me. And there are times like it'll be like 2 or 3 months after the party that they'll respond to this message saying, yeah, I'd love to book a party with you. But they didn't respond at that moment. But it was something they're like, I keep remembering that people will respond when they're ready, when they need you. They just need to know that you're there.
Yeah. And it goes back to, it's not about us, it's about them.
Yeah.
We do our part, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
So what's everyone's big focus for this week?
My focus is my focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
A lot of things.
Yeah, getting all the stuff set up for the systems to get going, getting my stuff ready for Director Bound, getting my stuff ready for it's getting my template, getting all of my systems in place today and tomorrow so that I can work on, the rest, connecting with my guests, connecting with my team.
Mhm.
Yeah, I find during the month a lot of times that I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to keep track of that, or I wanted to remember that, or whatever else. So I created a really cool document which I can share with you guys. But it let me tell you, just the creation of it makes me happy, and I'm really happy with where I'm going with it. So I'm just going to show it to you really quick. But I think I'm going to show it to you. Do you see it here?
Yep.
So it's literally just the 30 some days of the week.
Yep.
And then what I might want to focus on according to the month.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, I started myself. This is, this is the filled in, like, my monthly stats, of course, is a Monday, but also like my Green by 15 drawings on the 16th. And, I want to reach out to people, remind them of Comic Club Tree. I mean, just little things. I've just started putting things into it, but I feel so good about getting it out of my head and on paper, and then knowing, okay, well, today is the 9th. These are the tasks that I need to do on top of everything else. And I just check these things off, or, remembering, that April's kid enhancement, or, just different things I do. I'm really excited about this. So I'm happy to share the blank ones if you guys want to play with this or work with this, or
That would be wonderful.
Susan might like it, or she's something else. She's smiling, but she'll mute.
No, I would love it.
Sorry, I was like, yeah, that is great. I love that, because I'm always like, and to have that in front of you, like you're looking at it and you're like, oh yeah, today's the 15th. I need to,
Right.
it's good, because when you get in the office, sometimes you're like, okay, what should I start with today?
Yeah. So if you guys think of anything else to put into it, I mean, I would love for people to add on the post when I share them in Purple Pride on the things they're putting in there, so I can be like, oh yeah, I need that on mine as well, So anyway, so
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, Terry.
No, I'm done.
Oh, I was going to say, how many of you use the Google Calendar? Because I switched to that at some point in the past year. And, Terry, do you use digital as well as this? Like, how do you use a Google Calendar at all? What do you do for a calendar?
I have a paper book. I mean, as computer savvy as I am, my calendar goes with me on paper everywhere.
Okay.
I need to look at lists because I'm inside so many different programs during the day,
Yep.
that I just can't go one other place. And Google Calendar just doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
So I have my calendar by my side, and I want these, in front of me at the computer. And I
Right.
think that combo for me will work very well.
Because there's things I like about Google Calendar, but I also feel like I'm missing a little bit by using it as well. And so I'm just wondering if doing this in conjunction with that, like I don't want to have 17 things that are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, this is a nice overall. I need to see the bigger picture instead of giving a day or a week in advance. I use so whenever I do one-on-ones with my team, my directors, anyone really, I create a Facebook message reminder. We're having a meeting now. It takes 2 seconds, very easy to do on the phone. You can do it on the computer as well, but it's much easier on the phone. And then they get a reminder at that time, so I have more people not missing their meetings.
Oh, I don't even know how to do that.
It's so easy. I mean, it's really so easy. So whatever message you're on, you click the 4 little dots over here, and you add a reminder. And then you can set it. You hit continue. You set it what it is, and it pops up when it's that time. So it's almost alarm going off on your phone and theirs, wherever they have messages. So I do that for all my one-on-ones.
Oh. I love you, Terry. I love learning these tiny little technology things that make your life better.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to answer. My son was calling. So where do I go?
So it's much easier on the phone. So when you're on your phone, at the very bottom, you see those 4 little dots.
Yes.
Like I'm in a message, or okay,
And Facebook message. Yep.
okay,
And click on the 4 dots, and then choose reminder.
yeah.
And then hit continue, and then you just set up whatever is. Like, you know, our next call. And all I do is like our, you know, our one-on-one call, and I put in the date and time, and then bam, and you can do it for a group or whatever else. But it's really cool because it's a reminder for them as well. So I do that in place of maybe putting on Google Calendar, because then you have to hope that they add it to their calendar. This pops up on their messenger right away. So I do that. And then I put, as I said, I like my paper calendar. I mean, this is next to me in the car. This is everywhere.
Yeah, that's me. Like if I lose this, but FYI, paper calendars, somebody taught me about these, it's called ARC system from Staples, and you can pull out pages and move them in. So I don't have to have the whole year. I can just have a couple months at a time. And then there are notes in the back. Like, so you go to conference and you take a bunch of notes, but you want to keep those someplace separate. They're not in a specific notebook. I can take them out and move them into a conference notebook later. I was like, oh, the whole being able to move pages around was lovely.
Susan, I used it once, maybe a couple years ago, and I felt like the papers were coming out too easily, or they weren't turning easily. Is that different now?
Yeah, I don't have any problems turning them. I mean, I think the problem of turning them is if your binder's too full. So I took a bunch of pages out. So I usually keep 4 months in my calendar. Right now I have August through December. So I'll be taking August out probably in another week, just because I'm double checking and going back, make sure I didn't, you know, miss a follow up with somebody. And then I'll start, you know, putting January so I can start planning the new year stuff. So yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to look at that, because I've seen them. I'm Office Maximum, one of my favorite places to go. But I was always concerned with that. I've been buying the, it's called, what is it? Oh, Tools for Wisdom calendar. And it's a nice handy book, but it's got a lot of goals on either months and everything. I mean, it just has a lot of space. And then I can look at a whole month. I can look at the week. I don't know, but I'll have to think about that. I'll look at that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that idea, because now I don't need the 4 or 5 months that are, you know, I've already, you know, gone through.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Awesome.
Was there anything else anybody wanted to touch on, because we're just past noon? Anything else? Well, thank you all so much. You're all so damn smart. So I got a lot of really good stuff. So thank you, everybody. And Terry, you've got next week, right?
Yeah, I have the next 2 weeks.
Next 2 weeks. Excellent. So be amazing. Wait, Joy says, hold on. Okay, we're holding on for Joy.
Yes.
Okay, so while we're holding on for Joy, what is your biggest goal for this week? So we can all come back and share next week. What's your biggest goal?
Biggest goal?
For this week, just for this week. What do you want to get done? What's your biggest thing that you want to accomplish this week?
Solidifying September.
Got it.
Follow up.
I
Yeah,
want to add at least one team member.
love it.
Which,
Terry, what about you?
Finish my follow-up and fill September.
Yep. Sue, what about you?
Yep. I have to fill September, and then I have to get my director bound set before next Sunday. So it's got to be done this week.
Yep. Same for me. I've got to finish my September, and I need to be better about doing the systems like y'all were just talking about, doing new consultant training on a regular basis, because I'm still doing them one-on-one. You know, but as I'm starting to recruit more people and more people are getting excited about Fast Track, I know it's not sustainable. So maybe it's time to move to the weekly things anyways, but I kind of need to reassess all that too. But number one is making sure that my September is full and getting some of my people, you know, getting their Septembers full too.
Are you guys getting on that 1 o'clock call today?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that for? I totally didn't miss that.
It's they're going to be spotlighting some stuff. I just got an email about it. I think it was an email. I don't know.
it was in the director success.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where it was. Director Success.
Yeah, they're pulling the peer training out of the nationwide call and doing it on a separate date, and that's what today is. You know, where they've had, you know, some other directors training on something, what they're pulling that out, so they're focusing more on, you know, other things for the nationwide call, and they'll do that separately so they can, you know, get into that a little bit more as well, or have enough time for it.
Yeah.
So I just decided it would take way too long for me to type. So my question was about the new threshold for active. It's changed to 20. Is that what's going on?
For them not to drop.
For them not to drop.
Yeah.
They
So they're not really
sometimes-
considered active.
Right. They just won't
Status. They're
drop.
just
You won't
won't
get paid
drop.
as active or anything like that. And I think that's a limited time. They're going to check it out. But one of the things I think will be really cool is if they sell one subscription to Enrichables, then they'll stay active and on your team, which the kind of thing is nice about that is that you want them to stay active because will go inactive for a period of time and then they're like, oh crap, and we don't want to lose them to a different team or different whatever. So keeping them active and keeping them in your line only takes $20. So I think for me, like when people are about to drop, I always say, you never know what life's going to bring in the next 6 months. You know, by simply submitting $150 this month, you have another 6 months to decide whether Pampered Chef is something that you would like to continue doing. You can still purchase at a discount, blah, 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 blah. So host a show of your own and all that. So now we'll be able to say for a mere $20.
But they will lose their career sales if
Yes.
they're doing that. So be careful of that.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good. They lose their career sales when they don't do 150 every other month, right?
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So then it's just basically keeping from dropping. It doesn't count for like director numbers. It's not that you need 5 people at $20 a piece. You still need that 150.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
just
Thank you so much.
simply dropping off. Yep.
And
Awesome.
Michelle, the link for that training at 1 was in the STIR last week.
Okay.
I just tagged you in Director of Success too, Michelle.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have an amazing week.
See ya.
Bye.